Well, today is January the 2nd, 2014, and we're going to take a pause here for a second before we get into this video on how to set up a power cab and say thank you. Today we passed 300,000 views on the YouTube channel, and we're now past 1,560 subscribers. Thanks to everybody. The comments have been great. We'll try to stop the shaky videos. Other than that, can't promise a whole lot. So moving ahead, today's video is going to be on the power cab, which I finally got a hold of one brand new one, and so we're going to fix it up so we can hopefully help people answer some of their questions. Okay, today, for all us NCE people, we're going to talk about something I've been meaning to do in a video for a while. This is a power cab. I have one of my good friends here, and he wants to know how does he set it up. So we're going to go through this today, and we're going to talk about setting up a power cab. First of all, this piece right here is your power supply. Obviously, we plug it in a wall. And you will read very carefully right here that it says the output is 13.8 volts at 1.35 amps. Now, very simply, the power cab puts voltage onto the track at around 14 volts, and it's an amp and a half. So what goes in isn't going to come out of that end if this doesn't provide it. So it's just a little bit of logic here, because a lot of what I'm going to say here is pointed at questions that keep coming up on the chat room board on NCE and JMRI. So this is your power supply. The power supply connects to this little device. And I have put a yellow dot over the RJ12 plug. That's what this is. That's the female end for an RJ12. And the yellow dot is to point out that this is the left-hand side. This is the only place that the power cab can be plugged into to work. Has to be on the left side. And that power cab must be addressed as cab 2 to work. Now, you will notice, when you look at this, there's some differences. Open that up. This is the plug right here. This plug right here is where the plug from the power supply plugs in. Now, just for point and reference, the light won't come on or it doesn't work right. I've had one of these go bad. That's rare, but that's it. This is your track output, track voltage. This is the lead to another UPT panel. So, this is a PCP panel. Okay, the reason being is that the two wires on the outside of those 6 brass wires right there, the one there and the one there, carry the voltage to the power cab, and everything is inside the power cab. This is a UPT panel. Notice there is no plug for voltage. This is the one which goes with my system. Okay, and that is an NCE Power Pro Cab. Not a power cab, but a Pro Cab. So, difference. UPT panel, okay. PCP panel. Significant differences, okay? Just want to make everybody aware of. Now, you can have a cable, 6-pair cable going from this to this right here, and you would plug it in where it says to command station. All right. Right there. So I'm sorry, let's get this focused in here. This would be the front, but you would plug in on this side. You would run a cable from that point right there to this port right here, and you see where it says to command station. You'd use this one. In the Power Cab system, with the basic unit, you can only have the one more. So we're not going to go talk about what you can do with something else. But this is the UPT, that's the PCP. For most Power Cab users, this is all you're going to need. The Power Cab must be plugged into this port where the dot is. By the way, NCE doesn't ship it with the dot. I put the dot on it. The right-hand side, I can take that controller right there, Pro Cab controller, plug it into right there, and it will work. As long as it's not addressed to cab address 2. 3, 4, or 5, I think, are your capabilities. This particular Power Cab has got the 1.65 chip in it. It's a brand new one. So let us move on here. Okay, we've gone over the various pieces and identified them. And we're going to get this thing set up now and try to make it as simple as possible. Now, you can take your PCP panel and mount it in your fascia board, and that'll make it real nice and neat. You just make your little template, cut it out so you can slide the board in, screw it in, so forth. We're going to do this all out in the open today so you can see all the wiring. So I'm going to take the 6-wire flat wire RJ12 plug, and when you are operating a Power Cab on a Power Cab system, you have to have a 6-wire connection. This is the only place in the entire NCE system that currently requires that you use all 6 wires in the cord. The 2 outside wires are carrying the voltage from your power supply to the Power Cab. The red and green wire are carrying the voltage back to your track, and the other 2 wires are your command bus that would go to the other plug or would go to the plug in the back to continue the signal in the system. So then we're going to take the cord and we're going to plug it into this unit. Okay? Now, next, I have gone to the trouble and I have a track feeder cable made up, and this is the plug that you get. This is 16 gauge wire, 16 or 18 gauge wire, and I went to the trouble to make it and put some wire ties around just for the sake of making it neat. So this wire has to be plugged in to this plug right here. And it's one of them ones that you can't get in the wrong way. Does not make any difference what wire. You want to use red and green, positive, negative. When you're hooking up your railroad, the basics apply. You have to keep all your tracks in a circle, the connections made to the same rail. So we're not going to get into that part of it. Hopefully everybody understands. You know, the minute you cross one of the wires, this thing will start flashing, you'll have a short, and that'll be an issue. So, but we're not going to go into that. This is just about hooking up the Pro Cab. So here's your track feeds right here. That's your PCP, and we're going to go ahead and hook up the track. So, to make things really unique today, we're going to play like that 3-foot section of track there, which is a test track I use, is your railroad. And of course our little thing came quickly fixed up with alligator clips. I strongly recommend that you have a track bus and you solder those leads onto the track bus or use suitcase connectors. Lots of discussion about suitcase connectors lately. So now we have all the wires hooked up but one. So we take the power supply and we plug it into 110 volts. This being United States, for all you foreign people, sorry. If you don't have 110 volt, if you are working on another voltage, get the adapter. Okay, now we have power. So at this point, all we have to do is plug in the power supply into the system. And we got an immediate response on here that the system came up, and it's going through the startup. Now, I'm going to do this over again so you can see it. Okay, so I unplugged it, plugged it back in, and this is what you should see. Okay? We're in the version 1.65, and it came up loco 3. Now, whether it came up loco 3, all zeros, that's irrelevant. But the first part's what you wanted to see. All right, I have shown in another video how to change cab addresses. When we plugged this one in, it came up cab address 2. Let's say for some reason it didn't. Okay, your power cab has to be on 2 and it has to be plugged into that left hole to work. So you would simply go to hold down the loco, select loco with the thing unplugged, hold the button down and plug it in at the same time. Now you will see that the cab address is coming up 02 and flashing. Say it came up and it said 06 and flashing, or 07, or whatever. If it's not 02, you're going to have problems. So all you need to do is hit 2, enter, and then it's going to ask you yard, normal. I'm going to tell you, and I'm not going to get into an explanation of what the yard mode is, or whether you can do it with the power cab. I'm just going to tell you, hit 2, normal. At that point, it's going to go to ballistic track rate, and you're going to stop right there. I'm going to go one step further. I'm going to hit enter, and I'm going to hit enter, and right here, program option key value. If you're running Broadway limited engines, and you want to get to functions 10 through 20 and 20 through 30, we're going to change this button right here, option, to let you do that. So simply you would enter 1, 2, 2, enter. Okay, and at that point you want to stop. And you would simply go down here, now as I've said in all my other videos, you hit the world famous escape key. And now you see that the ProCab is cab address 2, and it's loading up the rest of the way, and we're back to where we were before. So this is basically setting up the thing, making sure it has the right cab address, and we have the correct thing. And I guess I should have moved the other cab at the back because I may confuse you. So we're going to go here and we're going to select loco. How'd you like that? It disappeared. The magic of video. 4, 3, 6, 5. Enter. Oh darn, look at that thing. And it works. Dog it. Okay, people. That's how simple it is. Got to have the flat wire. The curly one. You cannot run a power cab on this. Okay? Can't use this to run the power cab in the power cab system configuration. And the basic reason, if I can get this to focus, is there's only 4 wires right there. You gotta have the 2 outside leads. Now, we're gonna cut out of this and we're gonna go in and we're gonna show you one more thing. And this is what makes the NCE system so great. And I'm going to show you the little trick. And it's the reason that back in the 90s, when I bought my first one, System 1, the decision was made that we were all going in this area of the country. We were all going with NCE, and I'll show you exactly why. Okay, so as some of you will recognize the famous Apex station in the background, and this is my layout. This is a power cab, Pro Cab, excuse me. This is actually the total system's 20 amps, but this is a 5 amp Pro Cab system. And there's that little engine we were just using a minute ago. And there's our NCE Power Cab. Now I've got that slinky flexible cord plugged into that power cab, and I'm going to go over here. No, you don't want me to use a tripod, so we're using a tripod, and we're going to plug this in. Okay, right into this RUPT panel. I'll be darned. Look at that. And then we go select loco, 4, 3, 6, 5, enter. Oops. Sorry about the jiggle there. So there you go. We're using that power cab on my Pro Cab system, and that's exactly why we bought the NCE system. Every controller that NCE works on, whether it's yours, mine, ours, or the other guys, works on every other yours, mine, or the other guy's system. And I've got Cab 06s here. I have the original System 1 controller, still works on the system.